Good morning. I think it's pretty obvious that the world economy is collapsing. It's starting to collapse right now. You think so? Yeah. Now what do you think? Is it manufactured? You think? Yeah. Now the globalists, they are squeezing harder and harder to get what they want. Yeah. But there's a risk with this. See, you can squeeze too hard. It's like you squeeze this wet bar of soap. You squeeze it too hard and it will jump out of your hands. Yeah. And you lose it. Yeah. So if people get focused on eating, surviving, they are not so easily scared of, climate, for instance. No, they don't care about farting cows or Greta being angry or something. They just lose interest in this. They want to eat, Yeah. So all these controlled minds, they may jump, you see? Yeah. Well, they are controlled. Just look around you. Look at your friends. You are looking at controlled minds. The globalists, they are controlling minds. Yeah. Through media and the authorities and everything. Yeah. Well, there's a risk. Yeah. Now about farting cows. Yeah. Proposal in New Zealand to tax farting and burping cows and sheep. It's true. I think they will be first with this. And they have a climate change minister in New Zealand. I didn't know this. I don't think we have one in Sweden. Climate change minister. Maybe we have. No. Anyway, his name is James Shaw. And he said, there is no question that we need to cut the amount of methane we are putting into the atmosphere. You see, sometimes they say this. There is no question, but there are questions, right? Yeah, but he says, no, there's no question. So, the pricing system, emissions pricing system, well, it's a farting and burping tax. That's what it is. Yeah. And now I've been reading New York Times. I'm very grateful to the New York Times because they made a list of all these new words. They are changing the language. And there's a long list of these new words. Yeah. You see, they believe now that there's a problem with changing the language. Yeah. The lefties, they are starting to realize this, maybe. And they have this list, and they say, for instance, American Civil Liberties Union, they wrote a big text about abortions without using the word women. Pregnant people, birthing people, replaced the term pregnant women. So you can't say pregnant women, you have to say pregnant people, right? It's so silly. There was clinicians in the United States, they had to say human milk instead of breast milk. Yeah, I remember this. Last year, the editor of The Lancet apologized for a cover that referred to bodies with vaginas, right? Not women, no, bodies with vaginas. See? People who are pregnant. Chest feeding, that's another one. Not breastfeeding, chest feeding. A government-funded report urged the National Health Service to use the term chest feeding and frontal birth. Frontal birth. What's the matter with them? Yeah. So they are trying to change the language. But now this article says that there's a problem here because they are addressing women without using the word for what they are. Right? They say if the aim is to maximize respect for every person's sense of self, it must follow that female patients who simply understand themselves as women cannot either be expected to go along silently with language in which they don't exist. Activists are adopting symbols and language that are off-putting, not just to the right, but to the people in the center and even liberals. Right? So they are starting to realize that this may not work. It's not such a good idea. No, they are funny. You know, the liberals and the lefties, they are. Yeah. Silly. So it gets to be funny. Now we have some funny people too. Yeah, we do. We have to admit it. I think so. I'm not talking about us, but there are people in our ranks commenting on our channels that are so incredibly stupid. Yeah, and we have to recognize this, I think. For me, personally, it's the Hitler lovers, first of all, but also the flat earthers. Yeah, we see them commenting, and they are incredibly stupid, if you ask me, yeah. And sometimes I think they are trolls. Some of them are trolls. They are making us look stupid, all of us. Yeah. Now, flat earthers and Hitler lovers, you know, please go somewhere else. I know that there are channels for you. Yes. I don't want you here on my channel, no. So unsubscribe and leave. Thank you. All right. Be good.